Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel. I just got a bunch of parts in that I'm planning to put on the truck here in the next day or so. So what I want to do is pull the truck into the garage here, show it to you guys, take some initial measurements, and then we'll go over all the parts that we're putting on. I'll kind of talk about each one, why I picked them, preparing myself for some brutal criticism on my choices, of course, but that's fine. It'll just hurt me deeply. So let's get the truck pulled in and check it out. Measuring here in the back from the floor to the top of the tire. These are supposedly 32s, but when it's all weighted up, I'm getting like 30.5 inches for the height of the tire. I'm going all the way up to the bottom of the fender. I am just at maybe 38 1/8 inches. Going from the center of the hub to the top of the fender, just about 23 inches. And going from the top of the tire to the top of the fender, the bottom of the fender, it's like 7 3/4. Okay, let's go to the front. Okay, in the front here, our measurement from the floor to the top of the tire, just like in the back, 30.5 inches. Going all the way up to the top of the fender, I'm right at 36. Let's do from the hub to the center of the fender here, at 21 1/4. And then from the top of the tire to the top of the bottom of the fender, about 5.5 inches. I could go under and take a bunch more measurements on ground clearance and distance to the skid plate in the front, distance to the bottom of the diff in the back. There's a lot of people who have already done this. I'm not super concerned about, taking these specific measurements. I know I'm going to gain like 1.5 to 2 inches when all is said and done of clearance for everything but the differential and the suspension. Those, we're just looking at the increased tire diameter contributing. So probably just like 1/2 inch to 1 inch of clearance for those components. Okay, so I want to go over the parts that I've picked out for this set of upgrades. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just trying to gain a little more capability off-road, maybe a little bit more drivability. I'm not gonna lie, looks are a part of it. But overall, my big goals are to not compromise the truck while also adding the extra capability for, just a little bit more off-road hijinks. So I'm going to go through each of these parts, why I bought them, why I spent money, why I think it will be worthwhile to put these on the truck. So let's get started. First thing over here, this is the first thing I bought. It's just a little top hat reinforcement bracket from Icon. Early on, they were testing this truck and they blew through the front strut, like it broke its top hat, shot through the top of the strut mount. And so they developed that part to preload that strut tower top hat with a little bit of extra reinforcement. Supposedly it helps. So I've had these sitting around for a while. Now that I'm finally getting work done on the truck, I'm going to throw them on. I'm doing a set of springs from All Dogs Off Road. And, this isn't a huge Toyota company. These guys mostly do Nissan stuff, but they have been developing this kit called the Spacer Eraser lift kit for the 24 Tacomas. They've got it on their own truck. They've been doing a lot of work on this. So I decided to give these a try. There's not a ton of information or reviews out here about them because these springs just go over your OE shocks. So the Bilsteins that come on the TRD Off Road will just take the old springs off and replace them with these. They are supposed to add about 1.5 inches of lift. So I understand we're losing a little bit of down travel with this, kind of like adding a preload spacer. For some reason, putting springs on, to me, feels better than preload collars or a spacer lift. And at the same time, I'm still able to maximize the use of my OE shocks, those Bilsteins that came with the truck. It's not an insignificant piece of hardware that I should just rip off and throw away whenever I want to do an upgrade. So, my idea is let's spend, $400 or $500 on these, get a little bit of lift, maybe some better ride quality, especially off road, and continue to use the OE stuff that came with the truck because that's pretty important to me. All right, next we've got these Relation race wheels that we're putting on. What are these? RG7 hybrid wheels. Okay, so these are monoforged aluminum wheels. They're super light. I think each of these comes in just under 25 pounds. And so the reason I went with, a lightweight, more expensive wheel like this is because I knew I was upgrading the tire size. The tires that come on the 24 Tacoma Off Road are the BFG trail terrains. They're a great tire. I don't have any significant complaints about them. Overall, they've done well on road, off road, done pretty well in the snow, in wet. Pretty good tire overall. The other interesting thing about them is they're super light. So I think the whole wheel and tire combo from the factory is about 66 pounds. So that means the wheels are 29 pounds and then the tires are about 36, 37 pounds. Now, going up in tire size or even staying at the same size, which the OE tires are like 265, 70, 17, I believe. Even if I went to a more aggressive all-terrain tire, I'd be adding a lot of weight just because of the more reinforced sidewalls, things like that. So what I did is I found a lightweight tire. Actually, Nitto's Terra Grappler G3 is their newest tire. It actually has a lot of their new technology in it. It's supposed to be a great tire. And the other benefit of it is if you get the standard load rating, it's also pretty light. So, I'm still adding, I think it's like 46 or 48 pounds per tire. So we're still adding a little bit of weight, which is okay. But that's part of the reason that I went with a more expensive, lighter weight wheel. So tires are going up about 10 pounds. Wheels are going down about 4 or 5 pounds. So net, we're only adding, 5-6 pounds per corner. Which is pretty modest for most of these truck upgrades. A lot of these guys putting on 34s or 35s, they're increasing their weight at each corner upwards of 30 or 40 pounds. And that's really going to have a huge impact on drivability, performance, gas mileage, acceleration, braking. So, didn't want to compromise the truck. So that's why I went with these. We're going to go down to a local shop here in Colorado Springs called Evolution Off Road. We're going to take it there. Drew is going to throw on all these parts for me, and then we'll pick it back up at the end of the day. Okay, so I got the truck back last night. I didn't shoot anything last night because it was dark already, but check it out. I think it looks pretty great. We'll get some more measurements. But for right now, I'm just showing you the results of the install. EOR did a great job. Wheels and tires look good. I think it's sitting about 2 inches higher. We'll measure it out to be sure. Okay, so we're gonna take some measurements. Looking at the height of the tire from the back, we're at 32, maybe 32 and a quarter. From the ground to the bottom of the fender, we're at 40 and a half inches. And then from the center of the hub or so to the bottom of the fender, we're at 25 inches. Let's go do the front. All right, so from the ground to the top of the tire, again, 32. This one might be a little lower. It's just about 32. All right, to the bottom of the fender flare, we're at 38 and a half. And then from the center of the hub or so, we're at 23. So we were able to maintain the factory rake on the truck, and it looks like we got about just about 2 inches of lift. And since this tire is sitting at 32 inches under load, my last ones were at 30 and a half inches under load. That means that we actually gained 3/4 of an inch of additional ground clearance just from the tires. So I'm pretty happy with this setup. We'll make another video here soon where we take it on a trail, test it out, and give some impressions of this hardware that we threw on the truck. Thanks for watching.